podcast. I'm your host, Marisa Burgett. Over the past several years, I've combined my degrees in acting and somatic psychology to share my sustaining creativity techniques with performers. And now I've decided to share it with a bigger audience that includes you. I believe we are all creative, and this podcast is all about that. I'll be interviewing people from all backgrounds, ages, and creativity experiences to share just how creative we all are. Today, I'll be chatting with Marisa Burgett and Kenzi Green, founders of Brief Collective. Please enjoy Marisa Burgett and Kenzi Green. Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. Today we have a special treat. We have two guests, Marisa Burgett and Kenzi Green, founders of Brief Collective. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us. It's so good to be here.
I am super stoked to chat with both of you about creativity. I know it is lives deep in both your lives in what you do. But before we dive in, why don't you share briefly to our listeners so they know a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Hi, everyone. My name is Marisa Burgett. I'm the beauty and brains behind Wild Rose Becoming. It's a creative agency, and I'm the creative director. I also co-own the Brief Collective with my amazing business bestie, Kenzi Green.
And I'm Kenzi. I am the brand and web designer behind Kenzi Green Design, and I specialize working with female founders, and I also offer them strategic guidance as they're scaling and growing their business. Obviously, as Marisa said, I'm the other half of the Brief Collective, and we came together to form the Brief Collective a few years ago because we both have very different backgrounds but experienced a lot of the same challenges when it came to growing our design businesses. And eventually we went from, making pennies to booking 5-figure projects and started getting questions from other designers, and we just realized that there's really a need to educate creative business owners about how to conduct business, how to sell transformation and not just a list of deliverables, and how to really set up your business for sustainability and not feel like a starving artist anymore. So that is a big mission here at TBC.
I love all of that and so important. I'm curious if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit of like your own creative journey. How did you get into this? What was that process? And also, how did you become besties and create this collective together?
So we actually did what, all of your parents tell you not to do, and met each other, started a company without ever meeting each other in person.
Oh my
And
goodness. Okay.
back in the day, do you remember like those clubhouse rooms? Do you remember when that was popular?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
we met in one of those, and we immediately at first I thought Kenzi didn't like me, but then we established that she did. But like instantly we were just like, okay, like how can we help the design industry? Because we're all getting these same questions, like what do we do about this? And so we immediately started a community. The community turned into a course, and we've just never looked back since, because we are on a mission to change the design industry from the inside out, and it starts with us. So that's kind of how we found each other. We ended up meeting in New York. We've both never flown much, and so we met each other in the airport and had a time in New York, and it was awesome.
That's incredible. I love the meeting in the Clubhouse platform and creating a business and it becoming what it is today. I mean, I don't know that many people could say that that's how their business started. So I love it. Kenzi, is there anything you have to add about this journey of into creativity or how you all started this business together?
Well, there's a lot more to that story that wasn't shared, which we only have 25 minutes here. So we're just going to leave a lot of stuff out. But just to as us as individuals, Marisa does not have a degree and she comes from the corporate lifestyle. And then I do have a degree, and I went straight into starting my business, never had a 9 to 5. She has
Mm.
kids, I don't have kids. So we're kind of like yin and yang. And
Yeah.
although we're so opposite, we also experienced again those same challenges, like, clients saying you're too expensive, or
Mm.
being told that we charge too much, or not knowing how to set boundaries. And like that's really what inspired us to start the Brief Collective. And like she said, it started as a community. We were posting brief challenges, helping people design their portfolio, but we realized the bigger mission is to teach people how to not be a starving artist, and that you don't have to be. And so that then evolved into our signature program, which is Design Biz Academy University. And we're now on our 12th semester. We've taught hundreds of designers how to grow their businesses, and it has been one of the most fulfilling things of my life. I never thought that I would ever be teaching creatives.
I love that. When the two of you think about creativity in your own life and your business, what does it mean to you to be creative?
To share your heart. I think, like, to put it very simply, um, sharing your heart and what's in it, what you care about. And I think that you can also charge for your creativity, but first it has to come from you.
For me, I think that creativity is about exploring your mind to the fullest potential. And I don't think that many people in this lifetime do get to do that. And it's very unfortunate. And I think everybody is creative, but most people don't even realize their potential or what their ideas could formulate into, because they don't ever explore their creativity beyond, oh, I might have this cool idea, and it's just like a thought that they let kind of blow away in the wind. Whereas
Mhm.
if you really hone in on your creativity, especially for us who are artists, who are in creative fields, like we're able to take those ideas and put it into action and execute. And that's where we see, what we do for a living come to life, or what we do hobby wise, or whatever.
Amazing. Both of those, that piece that coming from the heart, exploring your mind, it sounds like the two of you have this heart-mind connection within yourself, but also like together. I love
Yeah.
that. I love hearing that. And just the ability and talent and skill that you both bring to supporting other designers to explore that in bigger ways. This trope of starving artist, how do you all work with designers around that? What have you transformed that into?
Ooh, I like that question. So, I mean, Kinsey and I could talk about this forever, but I'll start with my first point. My favorite point to make is that it devalues your work publicly when you're a
Mhm.
starving artist. Like, you undercharge, then you go to over deliver, then you apologize for your pricing, maybe you give some emotional discounting in there, and you really like compete on the cheapness. You compete on like the rat race mentality. And it really, the whole market just adjusts downward because the client has no, like, in the design industry, there is no, like, clear, like, price that the thing is. So then clients start believing, well, branding is just optional and that it's just pretty, it's just cosmetic. Like, I don't really need that. And like, they don't understand how strategy is tied to it. And they think $500 for a logo is like just completely normal. And then, like, that affects our entire industry because it is fighting for scraps instead of like leading business growth. And
Mm.
I really think that designers are like sometimes like the ghost behind the logos. Like, we are never mentioned, we are never thanked. Like, people just don't talk about this. It's something that is really just swept under the rug, and Kinsey and I were sick of it. And so that's why we're out to really like stop this and create some more um like standardization in the design industry.
Yeah. Okay. What do you hope people turn this into? Like once they step out of that starving artist mindset, what do you have a phrase that is kind of the antithesis of that?
Feel the fear and do it anyway. That's
Mm,
like our signature
yeah.
phrase here. And it can, that can mean a lot of different things. But what we find is once designers are able to start evolving from this starving artist mentality into something that they should be from day one, which is a designer with more confidence and
Mm.
boundaries and a legit business owner, they start doing more things that may have terrified them before that now feel a lot easier. And we're always going to feel fear when we're expanding. And so, like,
Mm.
for example, just to like really get specific and give people a real world scenario, one of our most successful student stories, Veronica, came into our program. She had charged $200 for a brand identity before, and she had a lot of challenges around her mindset and, raising her prices and what that actually means and what she's actually delivering. And so, a big part of what we do in our program is go through activities where we help designers understand the value that they're providing to the client and how it actually
Mm.
logically makes sense, but also gets them to become comfortable with the idea of charging more inside their nervous system, because that's a big
Mm.
problem that is overlooked and a lot of times glazed over in this industry is, well, I can't charge more because X, Y, and Z, but usually that X, Y, and Z actually revolves around nervous system and mindset. And so we were able to take Veronica from charging that $200 to having her first 10K month in business
Wow.
and feeling more confident in what she does and showing up as somebody who has boundaries and standards and isn't just, begging for each and every client, but really showing up to the call saying, am I the right fit for this person? And are we going to move forward together as a collaboration and not just let me take whatever I can get? And so that's kind of like that transformation we have for everybody that comes into our program, even if they're at a different level, even if they booked a 5K project already. Okay, let's get you to your first 11K project. Like, let's go
Mm.
through the steps to get you to step into that next level of fear, but do it with confidence. And it unlocks, like, another level. Okay, let's get you speaking in front of people. Let's get you doing, we kind of take them
Mhm.
through these different phases to become a whole new version of themselves.
Mm. What a journey, not only to take someone on, but to go on for yourself. And you talk about nervous system, and I love that because, and just like doing it with fear, I truly believe our creativity comes alive at the edge of our comfort zone. And so, what is that nervous system piece that when you have that more internal tension of growth and fear, what are those skills or tools that you use to support someone to kind of cross that threshold into that next phase?
One of my favorite things that we do is EFT tapping,
Mm.
and I love doing that with our students because they're saying their fears out loud. We're just getting really real with it, and then we also help them replace it with something more healthy. And
Mm.
the other thing is like visualizations, which sounds woo woo and all that stuff. But if you can imagine yourself saying the price is $5,000 and you don't buckle and you don't like your voice doesn't shake and you can imagine yourself saying that number confidently, then when it comes to doing it on the call, it's a heck of a lot easier with an actual potential client sitting in front of you. And everybody, like, Kinsey is the action coach, I'm the mindset coach. And so people kind of, resist mindset. "Ah, I don't need to do that. Oh, whatever." Like they resist it really hard. And
Yeah.
so then once they come into our program, they realize how much they actually really need it. And
Mm.
it's different for everybody, but like just when you believe that your value is just being creative and you're not focusing on all the other things that you bring to the table too, then you get really stuck in just like aesthetic thinking. Then you're just like
Mm.
focusing on just the visuals, giving the client whatever they ask for. You're avoiding sales, you're avoiding strategy, you avoid those money conversations. And then it stays very surface level because you're not focusing on
Mm.
like the depth that's underneath that. And so we really try to help them with their mindset so that it like starts with you. And like the more that you
Mm.
focus on yourself and what you bring to the table, it's going to affect and make your business amazing, but it's also going to spill over into all the other areas of your life too. Like students have actually said to us, like, you changed my life. Like, yes, all
Mm.
of this in my business is amazing, but more than that, like, I am a much more confident human after thinking this way. And so I love that
Mm.
we're able to like do that for people and expose them to things that they never would have crossed otherwise.
Yeah, what a powerful tool to be able to change mindset, but also that practice, like you were talking about, actually hearing yourself say, this work is $5,000. hearing those words come out of your mouth is hugely impactful, whether you're talking to yourself in the mirror or an actual potential client. Yeah. So for the two of you in your own life, when you are working on crafting things or putting things together, where do you draw your inspiration?
Um, for me, I think a lot of times it's just experiences. Like if I'm doing, a brand for somebody and let's say they own a hotel, like can I go to the hotel? Can I experience it for myself? Can we talk about the experience that you want your customers to have? And also books. Like I'm big on reading business books, but like business books that focus on psychology.
Mhm.
And so a lot of times I'm thinking, okay, how is this going to be consumed? What do people think about when they hear this or that? And so a lot of what I pull inspiration from is based around psychology and human behavior. And
Mhm.
then, of course, it doesn't hurt to look at other creatives and their work, and especially in other industries. I think that that's very helpful too, so that we're not always like looking at another designer or somebody in our exact industry per se, but maybe somebody else in a different industry and what we can learn from what they're doing and apply it to our own.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. How about for you, Marissa?
I mean, yeah, my everyday life, my children. I love like really beautiful restaurants and hotels and going and visiting new places is super fun for me. Also, I'm a super big fan of fashion and art. So I'm always looking at those things and honestly just conversations with people. Like I love to get to know people and their hearts, and that really helps me and inspires me to be like, oh, I need to make a post about this, or oh, that inspired a brand new framework. Like it really does just start with the people I'm around.
Mm.
And I think that I've really been getting into like just the art of noticing and
Mm.
like just the tiniest little things. Um, like we were on a train, in Denver, on our way to a wellness retreat, and I just freaking loved the way that the train like curved, and I was so inspired by how it curved. Like I wrote my husband like a whole really sweet love note, and like just talking about how far we've come. He
Mhm.
proposed to me on a train. I'm getting on one of my bunny hills, or bunny trails right now, but it makes sense for what I'm saying. I just love like the small things.
Mhm.
That truly brings me a lot of joy.
Mm. I love both of those. And I think inspiration is such a huge part of creativity. And whether it's seeing other creatives doing things or having these experiences that take us back to a previous time in our life and how that comes into the present. You have, I think, Kenzie, you were talking about you have a focus on supporting women entrepreneurs and designers. And I'm curious, working with women in this field, in this world of design, how do you work with that, the experience of negotiating with yourself before you actually negotiate with someone else?
I just try to act like a man. What would a man do? Probably not negotiate. Probably say whatever the first quote is in their head and what I look at the value I'm bringing to the business. Okay, is this
Hmm.
person been in business for 3 years and their next goal is their first multi six figure year? Is my service going to help them get there? What quote makes sense for that? And I always try to tie it back to like numbers, because
Mm-hmm.
that's how I'm that buyer type. Like I look at, is this investment going to make sense number wise? I don't necessarily buy
Sure.
just based on emotion, or there's all
Yeah.
sorts of different buyer types out there. And then I think a big part of what I do is also helping my clients not negotiate with themselves. I see a
Hmm.
lot of women who know they're undercharging and they aren't changing anything and they
Yeah.
openly admit to it, or they're not investing in this next level of their business because they're afraid of success. And like I see a lot of the same things over and over again. So like a big part of not only as a design coach, but as a designer and somebody that coaches just female founders in general is like helping them overcome that for themselves.
Hmm. Yeah. I I love that you do that because I think it's so important and being able to trust whatever the numbers are coming out of your mouth or that you're emailing or sending someone in a quote. For sure, for people who are kind of just starting on their design journey or have these ideas of wanting to step into this field in a bigger way, what are some of those first steps that you think would be really helpful for someone just starting off?
One of the things that I find myself saying a lot of the time to a newer designer is, we hear this thing, charge your worth, charge your worth. Well, I say no. Your worth is infinite. Charge based on the value that you're bringing and not your worth, because it's far too personal.
Mhm.
Because you have so much value that you're bringing to the table, and not just in the pretty things that you create, but in you as a person and in the strategy that you're bringing to the table. So I think like really explore the value-based pricing because your
Mm.
mind will be blown. Kinsey, what about you?
Look up our YouTube channel, The Brief Collective. Also, we have a free community for designers, and we do a monthly creative connection call, like no strings attached. And
Mhm.
I think there's also a lot of other YouTube resources like The Future and designers who talk about revenue and value and learning how to price based on those things, not how can I be the cheapest designer and get the client because I offer more for less. That is a race to the bottom. That's almost everybody's mentality when they start because we just don't know any better.
Yeah,
And so, really diving into the resources you have at your fingertips and learning from people who have already been there and done that is the best way to set yourself up for success early.
I love it. I'll add links to show notes so people can access your YouTube videos and pieces really, really easily. I'm curious for both of you, what are the things that are lighting you up or you're really excited about these days?
I am really excited about journaling,
Mm.
and breath work and sound baths. Those have been like my three things, and I've been doing a lot more girls' nights recently. So that's been also great to be around my girls. Motherhood is fun too, but I can't like really access my super creative self when my kids are being crazy. So, finding, you know, taking a little bit of time away from them is also really good to like fill my own cup.
Mm. Nice.
For me, I have been getting back into photography a little
Mm.
bit more lately, and I think I I went to school for interactive media design, and I've been really coming to terms with the fact that I'm not just a brand and web designer and that I can run like a full creative studio and have all these creative services. And I'm really inspired by content, and I've been really getting into film and like just admiring how people in other industries think about what they're producing. And for some reason, I think in my head for a long time, there was like a separation between like there was brand and web design and then everything else. And it's like, no, everything is creative and it's all interconnected. And so just being really inspired by other industries of creativity is really what's been lighting me up lately, as well as like helping female founders focus on systems and scaling and thinking about what they need to scale, not just so, well, maybe I need a new brand or maybe I need a new website or like all of these things are connected, and really helping people understand how to navigate that with confidence has been something that I've been doing more and more of.
Mm. I love both of those answers. I can see the the pieces that the two of you bring to the business that you have together and your individual creative spaces as well. And it seems like such a perfect little marriage to what you all share in the Brief Collective and how passionate you both are in supporting other creatives and artists and designers to really step into this space with a bigger voice and a bigger presence. And what a gift to be able to share that with people. So thank you for the work that you do for designers because it's so important. And I have one last question. What does it feel like in your body to be creative?
like lit up, like it's like electrifying. I really think like I don't know, it feels very expansive and like just genuinely anything is possible. Like it also feels a little chaotic, but like I like it.
Sure.
Um, Flow state, like entering your like peak, like I'm forgetting where all the time has gone. I don't even care that I'm starving right now because I'm so into this thing that I'm doing. Like I can't be bothered. And I hope that every individual out there gets to experience that feeling at some point in their life and find that thing that allows them to be that way because it's incredible.
I love it. Absolutely. Well, thank you both for taking the time to chat with me. If people want to learn more about the Brief Collective, your own design companies, how could they go about doing that?
We are the Brief Collective on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. We're super active on Instagram. And then
Marisa Burgett director.
and then mine is Kenzi Green Design. No E on anything. That's all you need to know. There's no E on anything.
Okay, perfect. Well, I will put, like I said, links in show notes so people have very easy access. And thank you both for taking the time to chat with me. This has been so much fun.
I know, 25 minutes flew by. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. We'd love to keep in touch, so follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We are at Sustaining Creativity. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Tag your friends and family so they can listen too. We love to hear from you, so leave your reviews, comments, and questions. Check out our website, sustainingcreativity.com, for upcoming offerings and creativity coaching. Tune in Tuesdays for our next episode. And remember, with creativity, anything's possible.